Hello, and here I am today with the lovely Vivienne Joy from She Enjoys, and we're just going to have a little chat to sort of discuss what she does and how she helps masses and masses of people. So, I am a client of hers, and she's a client of mine. It's all very lovely how we all work together, and we just as sort of a little kind of brief rundown about Viv. So she is a coach, particularly works with female entrepreneurs, and has been changing the lives of many, many people, sort of in my network and those around me. And certainly she has changed mine. So it's an absolute pleasure to have you on and have a little chat. So tell us a little bit about yourself. Like how long have you been a coach, and what was your journey to becoming a coach? Because I know you've had quite a, I guess, sort of exciting career where you tried all sorts of different things, and it sort of shaped you as a business owner, and obviously given you a lot of resources and experience to help coach other people in business. But tell us a little bit all around that. Thanks.
I'll try and keep it so that it's not a 2-hour interview. So it's really hard. When you reach the age of 48, you've done a lot. You know, like when I was 25, my CV was like one page. It was lovely. Now it's like a lot of the stuff I've done over the last, well, at least 10 years, apart from my own businesses, has been kind of saving other businesses. So I was kind of parachuted in to do that. So they all look like lots of jobs, but they were contracts. But yeah, so I started my beautiful life in accountancy, believe it or not. And so that's why I've got a head for figures, which a lot of people that are kind of creative don't seem to have. But yeah, I remember I was there for about 4 years, and I learned everything from the ground, from actual manual bookkeeping. That's how old I am, which gives you a really good grounding of understanding numbers. Yeah, a bit like, well, most people actually, yeah. I remember being on the phone to a guy called Dave. I worked for Volvo Trucks, so a big corporate company, and Dave said to me, "You've got far too much personality to be sitting at that desk chasing money." And I thought, Dave, you're bloody right. So I then went and found a job, and I didn't know what it was, for American Express as a financial advisor, which obviously then took me into the beautiful world of sales. And I was really lucky because the sales training was NLP based. It was because they're American, so they were very Americanized. So it wasn't the traditional kind of training that was going on in the UK back in that decades ago. So I was really fortunate to understand how to sell from the personality types, from the mindset, from the emotion set, from the fear set and the desire set that people have got. And of course that's,
so I guess it would have been quite cutting edge, because sort of how, you know, the things that I've learned from you in sort of sales and sort of you know, thinking of messaging in my business, you know, when I'm marketing, etc., it's coming from the things that you're teaching me from that, and it comes from that kind of foundation.
21. Yeah, so 27 years I've been living that. So it's just natural for me to know how it feels for the other person and what they're thinking. And once you start to read the mind of the person that you're working with or selling to or marketing to, then it becomes a whole different ball game. It's not about you. So yeah, that was really powerful for me. And it was very much based on the colour theme that we look at Clarity D. I don't know if you look at all the psychometrics, because it was their own, but it was based on the colours. So I really understood what happened to people and how they operated, how they reacted to things. So that was kind of my grounding. But I didn't really like going out to see people in their homes. There was a murder of a woman that had done that, Susie Lampley, you probably won't even remember her. My mum said to me, "You're not allowed to do that anymore. You need to go and get a proper job," because I was swanning all over the country. And I walked into a recruitment agency in Northampton, and 4 hours later I was their commercial recruitment consultant for perms. So that's kind of how my career went in the early days. And of course then I learned more about people and how they, you know, how they got jobs, and that kind of stood me instead for recruitment agencies that I ran for other people. And then as when I met you, had Vivico Recruitment and took me through that. So in the many of that, I worked for design agencies, advertising agencies, all sorts of other companies as well, where I was able to spend loads of people's money and see the results their marketing strategies had that cost me nothing. And that was very powerful in every industry possible, right from people like Wrangler Jeans through to tiny little companies starting out and designing the logo. So that's how I have so much knowledge in business and marketing. So when I put the coaching skills on, which was obviously always going to be NLP because I kind of lived that, then there I had it. So I knew exactly what I was going to coach small business owners from their beginnings, because my beginnings were pretty painful. Financially, I couldn't, even though I was used to marketing, I've never done it with my money. So it's very different when it's your own £100 or your own £1,000 for an advert in the Daily Telegraph. It like becomes a different energy, like, shit, what if nobody responds? And I've found that you probably heard this story, but the trigger in my first ever business, which was started in 2002, so 2002, 2003, so I was one of the first .coms, and I found Google pay-per-click, and I found it, and I was really good at it. In fact, I was a key customer of Google's. They used to send me presents. So this is going back. So I've been in the online space for a very, very long time. I sound like I'm bloody ancient, don't I? So yeah, and of course, I've always been in that space. So I kind of kept up with modernality and kind of keep up with the breadth of it. But I soon realised that actually, if I spent £1 here and earned 5 here, that was a good investment. And I think a lot of small business owners don't understand that investing in yourself and your business, as long as it's going to reap the rewards, is the best spend of your money. But most people just think it's spending money. They don't realise they need to get a return on it. So yeah, so I have good grounding, really. Very fortunate.
And also, as a talking about kind of investing as a coach yourself, you invest in coaching for you so that you can constantly improve and grow and learn, because things change and things move on, and just you build on that knowledge base as well. Otherwise you just stagnate. So it's,
well, I love it.
It's my
passion. I live it. Like, you'll see lots of videos over the last, 10 years where people are sitting at home on a Saturday. I'm at an event in Holland, like learning the latest techniques and strategies. I just love it. I love that immersion. And the whole point of that is then I can bring it to business women, especially, that can't do that. Like, with the best will in the world, you do a lot of things. I know you came on my She Escapes retreat and you have travelled with part of the other business you have, but a lot of people haven't got that. They've got children, or they can't afford it, or they can't afford the time away from home, or no partners. So I can then get all that information and bring it into like bite size. Here it is, how you can put it into your business, how it's relevant for you, what's going on over in America, which they're far in advance. So I'm fortunate that I can do that, and I love it, absolutely love it. Yeah, and I trained, so in 2015, was it 15? I think it was, as an NLP master. So that was a big game changer, to take my skills to a whole nother level. And then I went to learn to be a trainer, so training master practitioners and practitioners. So pretty much, apart from being a master trainer, which you're training the trainers, it still gets a bit complex. And there's not many of those in the country, actually. I kind of went as high as I needed to go. And what that means is I understand it inside out. So I've got a very full knowledge of the brain, and all those questions that people ask themselves. Why the hell do I keep doing that? What's wrong with me? I've got the answers to those. I can help people to understand what's going on for them from a very logical point of view, so that they can just go, oh, it's not because I'm broken. It's not because I'm bloody mess or I'm crap at business. Oh, it's just because I keep doing that and saying that through some beliefs that are sitting in the background. So, as you know, a lot of the work that we do, and I do with everybody, is belief change. Because if you've got shitty beliefs, doesn't matter what I teach you as skills, you're always going to go, oh no, I'm too scared, or I don't want to, or I can't. Yeah. We have to start at the belief change.
I think the biggest thing that I've learned sort of through working with yourself and sort of investing in coaching and really in my self-development has been understanding that it's all about, like, where you're at in your business and where you're going to go is all down to sort of how strong your mindset is and your beliefs. And if you we all have ups and downs, and I've noticed that there's a direct correlation. When I'm feeling rubbish, nothing really happens. You might sort of check a few emails, but like all these goals and things, you're not going to take those actions to put them into place, or you're not even going to set those goals. You're not going to dream those dreams if your self-belief and all of that is so small. And I've also kind of realized that that accountability of that first reason of, oh, I don't have enough time to do this, or that surface level, I'm now kind of asking myself on a deeper level, and it's that onion thing of kind of what's the next step, and is it really that, and digging a bit deeper. So it's sort of interesting that these practices that you learn as part of that and it's interesting that you can kind of, you've got like a bullshit alert when someone's saying something and like I'm sort of developing it as well, that when you talk to someone, you're like, Is it that reason though? You know.
Are you sure? Well, that, and also that comes from being able to read body language. Like, so, you know, part of being an NLP master and trainer is you are an expert in understanding the tiny nuances that go on. And it's not that people are lying, but they're lying to themselves. So, you know, something happens to the skin color, the pupils dilate in a different way, they purse their lips, they've got a show, as they call it, a bit like if you're playing poker. So to understand those tiny things is like, oh, actually, I know that I've asked you a question and you've answered what is right or what you really would like it to be, but your tell just told me that's not quite how it really is. So that's why I call myself provocative, because I'm more likely to go, that's interesting, I love that as an answer, but what is really going on there? So we can dig deeper, because that's the way you get results. And I think that's the difference between me and a lot of other coaches is they will ask some questions and allow the answers, whereas I'm like, not sure about that. I'm very intuitive. I work with spirit a lot as well, so they'll go, that's not quite right, and I'll go, oh no, I know, let's go in and have a little delve, a bit like, I call it laser focus. So I'll go in and kind of just extract it so we can have a good old look at it, because the beliefs that we've got, that we form from kind of 5 years old to 12 years old and onwards, but actually that's where we create our map, we kind of lay down the blueprint. Most of them are not true, they're just gathered by other people, or things you've kind of decided by watching something else go on, fears, experiences, they all kind of lay this down, and it's that.
And that's called schemas, isn't it? I think that's something
I
first heard about from yourself at a back in the days of in-person coffee, cake, and coaching at the
which was 2015. That's when I started it. Yeah, absolutely. I did it to practice on you lot, really, basically. I thought, I know, I'll get you all together and we'll practice some of this. And I remember the first one of those thinking, shit, that was really powerful. They all were crying and all sorts was going on. I was like, oh my word. We really shared and got a lot of impact and a lot of change, which was, you have to get it from a deep soul level, like a deep unconscious kind of level, rather than, I'm going to just decide. It doesn't really work like that. So that's why motivation doesn't really work. It's very temporary quick fix. So I remember those days. Oh, Louise, I'd have to do that right now. Oh, of course, that's grown up a lot to the summits, the mega summits that I ran, and also She Escapes, which we launched this year, which we were very, very fortunate to be able to run back in April, and are running again. We're sold out actually for next April. So it's been a lovely evolution actually, and you've been a massive part of it. So thank you. And of course, the evolution really began, dare I say to everybody who's listening, when I got my branding sorted out, because I'd had my logo originated from a lovely girl who you might have met actually, who was my office junior, and she was really creative, and she was on Canva when Canva almost first came out, so it felt like it was new to us. So what, about 6-7 years ago? And she was just playing around, and it was like, and it's pretty much stuck. So you've tidied it up and kind of brought it up to date and made the splash better, and then created the brand that went around it. So without you, the evolution of my business wouldn't have been the same. And then you had Joe Blackwell for photography and branding photography and kind of the event photography, and hey presto, you feel like you're living a different business. Actually makes a massive difference, branding and photography.
It all comes together, definitely.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, so if anybody's listening and they haven't done that, it really is a game changer. Definitely worth the money. The best investment I've made, apart from personal development, which of course I spend thousands on, thousands. I've already booked all my personal development for next year, so I reckon it's in excess of about 35 grand so far. So my biggest investment is in me.
But it's that's the thing, it's the word investment. It's it's putting in, because you're going to get that back and more.
Absolutely, and it's not just, I think people think when they invest in a business coach, which is not really how I'd classify. I'm a mindset coach, and then I'll teach business skills, because actually a business coach will just sit and go, what are your numbers, how many people have you called, maybe they're not, maybe I'm giving them a rough deal now, they've probably got, I'm sure they're much more now, because they probably learn from people like me on how to get into the psyche of people. But I'm not so much a business coach as a mindset coach, showing business skills and motivation and creativity. So I'm quite creative, which is why we have such fun, like we just had with creating my new empowerment cards. So it's a joyful experience. But it all starts with beliefs, and I used to have some really shitty beliefs. I mean, I'm an only child, and my parents were both compulsive gamblers, so my money mindset was, well, the F word, I'm not going to say it out loud because I don't know where this is going, but it was absolutely wrecked. I really had bad self-worth for a lot of years, and when my parents both died when I was 30, that self-worth issue just went off on acid. Like, I literally, it was a game changer, a life wrecker, however you want to call it, really. And I had to do something. So that's when NLP was my savior. It really came back into my life, and it was through one of my friends who said, oh, come to this weekend with me, I don't want to go on my own. I was like, I don't want to do that. I was just in massive, like, self-sabotage mode, drinking, doing drugs, anything I could do to escape how I felt, because I just, you know, having lost both parents in 8 months, I was just on a road to disaster, really, actually. So I went on this weekend because she begged me, and she said she'd buy me lunch, and that you know, me and food, so I was there all over that, and that was me realising, and I remembered it. So that's the thing with NLP, is I remembered the training originally, which was like years before, and I realised the power of how it embeds into you. That's the difference between just going on a normal training. NLP is talking to the unconscious mind, so it all came back, flooding back really quickly, and it really did save my life. I really believe that. Yeah. So and here we are. So I'm very grateful to it, and to all those people on my journey. Yes, very exciting.
Yeah, I mean, definitely in the time that we've known each other, I've seen your business evolve and grow, and just sort of really, you know, empowered, you know, and empowering others. And I think it's just sort of amazing, really, at the risk of sounding a bit gushy. But in terms of,
thank you.
you're welcome. But in terms of, you know, those that are sort of interested to know more, like, how can people sort of work with you?
This has been an interesting year for me. Has been for everybody, hasn't it? But this year, because I realised the thing is, because I'm creative and I want to help everybody that's got whatever problem, and I know all the problems because I've had them all. Honestly, I've had the, you know, imposter syndrome, the couldn't do it, the can't do it, it's the fear of video. I've had all of those. Everything that I teach, I've had. That's how I know it so well. So I realised I was doing so much that when my own clients, like you, go, well, where am I supposed to be? Which meeting am I supposed to be at? Where's the link? I realised by me wanting to help so many people, and if you're listening to this, you'll be doing this too if you're a giver, which I definitely am. I was doing too much and people getting confused, therefore they weren't getting what they needed because they didn't know what to come to. So I've spent this year trying to streamline. So there literally are the free coffee, cake and coaching that I run each month, deep dive 90-minute sessions. So, you know, all females, sorry guys, can come to that. I also run free networking to people to kind of get a feel for who I am and who the community are, really, because it really is a community, as you know, Louise, you're absolutely a pivotal part of that. So to really get a feel if it's their vibe, if it's who they are, if it's, dare I say the word, tribe, so they can come along and see. And some come and stay and it's perfect for them, and others will be placed somewhere else. They need to belong somewhere else. So those are the kind of the free elements. Also every now and then run a free kind of 7-day mindset reset, or, you know, whatever else is going on. But also then I launched my academy, which you know, because you're part of, you're a lifetime member, where there's online training facilitated by weekly Q&A support to help people on that journey that are not quite sure how to evolve or what their real issues are. So that's been a game changer as well. And I'm about to launch that big style with a different, you know, with different, so we've got 2 different versions of it. And there's my boot camp, so it's weekly coaching. So that takes subjects and deep dives into how it is for everybody and what's going on, and really getting into the mindset. And then, of course, I have my She Thrives tribe, which you are. And I'm about to, in January, launch She Thrives online mastermind. So very much online, because I've got clients all over the world now. So when you say the evolution, mine is global now. Clients in Canada, America, Europe, I mean, they're literally everywhere. So that means they couldn't come to little old Northamptonshire. And it wasn't fair to expect somebody to travel from Canada to little old Northamptonshire. So I finally will be launching on the 11th of January, She Thrives online mastermind. So quite a different structure to the tribe, which we physically meet up. It's like quite a different element. But yeah, so I do have a couple of spaces. It's by invitation only because it's a whole year program. So I'm very cautious who I invite to that, because I have to like who I coach, have to be the right coach. They have to be ready to really go there. And the reason I've created this is the magic figure seems to be 50K. So when a small business owner starts, they're kind of struggling and desperate and trying to get whatever they can. And then when they hit 50K a year or thereabouts, things start to relax a bit. They kind of can be a bit more selective. They're not in the bump and grind of life. They kind of can just kind of go, right, now what's right for me? So a lot of the decisions are made from what's best for me, rather than shit, how am I going to pay the mortgage, which is kind of how a lot of business owners are going through their day. So the aim of that mastermind is to get people to recurring income that brings that into them, which I know we've been working on, and you're kind of in that space to get, sorry, my dog barking in the background, he agrees that that's where everybody needs to be, 50K. So to get people into the space where they are consistently and joyfully, not like painfully, because that is another thing that business owners do, joyfully earning that. So yeah, looking forward to launching that to some new blood that I can reset the mindset of and get their business structured so that it's working for them and that they're not having to work hard. So yes, lots of exciting things next year. But I think I've got it now. Like, I'm definitely the same as other business owners the last 5 years. Oh, I'll do this and I'll do that. That's not quite right. It doesn't quite feel right. And I remember somebody saying to me a few years ago, if something doesn't feel quite right, it's definitely wrong. So something doesn't feel quite right, it's definitely wrong. So we kind of put up with the not quite rights, don't we?
Yeah.
In a lot of areas, relationships, careers, friends, clients. So if it's not quite right, it's definitely wrong. So I have to kind of check in with myself, listen to that inner guidance, that little quiet voice. Are you sure you want to coach that person? Are you sure they're right for you? Are you sure that program is definitely what you should be doing?
I think it's easy also to be like, on paper it sounds like a good idea, but it's that kind of that gut check, that intuition, and usually that that intuition is right. To different, yeah.
Well, I'm there. They get it. They just don't listen to it so much, I don't think. But in fact, I'm running on Tuesday, so the 1st of December, my See It, Believe It, Achieve It for 2021, which is all about literally taking from your mind what you want to happen next year, or even creating, because if you haven't even thought about it, some people don't even think about it, and trying it on for size. So taking a little journey through your unconscious mind and your kind of alignment to see how it feels, because you've done this with me live and online. It's the 5th year I've run this. It's most definitely I think we've got 87 already booked onto it. So it's going to be a busy session, which I'm quite looking forward to. Just to kind of try it on, because like you say, sometimes you have an idea, and actually if you really work it through financially, emotionally, physically, it's probably not right. You should probably leave that one somewhere else for another time. So yeah, that's what that session is.
And I think also there is so much advice out there, from both practical and kind of emotional and businessy stuff, and I think it's really easy to get into that trap of, I should be doing this and should be doing that, and actually going, okay, well what can I focus on right now, and actually, just because someone else is saying that I should do this, is that right for my business right now or at all?
Absolutely.
So it's that sense checker and intuition checker.
Well, and the main thing that should be focused on is usually the one that business owner is most scared of, so therefore they avoid it and do a whole load of other little things. Like, they should really be powering up their messaging, but actually they're too scared to really go for it and say they're the expert or the best or really understand the outcomes they get for people. So they're busy doing little tiny marketing things like, oh, here's a little meme, or here's a little blog, or here's what I think about that. Here's a little engagement question about how you like your tea. They're kind of doing a load of this underneath rather than the bam, come and do this with me, or come and buy this from me, or whatever. So they're definitely yes, it's what you focus on, isn't it, really? What you focus on grows, big saying in NLP. So
well, I'll share the link to the Tuesday's session so that people can get booked in for that. Unfortunately, if I do go along to that, I'm triple booked, so I've got kind of quite a busy day, so I don't think I'll be able to make it. I've kept it in there in case I can sneak away, but there's lots going on that day, so I'm going to have to pick and choose. But it's
an interesting date. Numerology wise, 1st of December, there's a lot going on. Well, we come out of lockdown, don't we, as the UK, surely. Some of us are probably in a worse situation than they were before, but so it's a big day actually. Numerology, it's interesting one. So we'll see what happens. Yes, well, I look forward to that. Thank you. It is a female only event, and not because I don't like men, by the way. I like to coach men one-to-one because they have breakthroughs very quickly. Like, I can coach a man through their shit in about half an hour, whereas women want to feel it, they want to decide it for themselves, they want to talk about it. We like to do things differently, whereas on the whole, most men, they just want to find out exactly what's going on and then fix it. That's it. That's the end of it.
It's a very different approach.
Yes. I do like coaching those, but it's all one-to-one, so happy to whoever that wants any one-to-one stuff. Thank you for having me on.
Cool. Well, I can like I said, personally attest for the results and experience of coaching with you, Viv. So we're just about to record a training that I'm going to share into the various places next week, so it's a sort of two-parter. So you're going to be talking about 4-step beliefs mindset reset, and you've also going to be sharing this is a link to a video program so that anyone can click on and access it. It's a free 7 steps from stress to success.
I like lots of S's, just in case.
There's a lot of S's,
I like that. From stress to, so it's dive. So there's
Yeah.
7 sort of 10-minute videos of really getting into the belief system and really doing like the deeper work. So the 4th step I'm going to give is a quick, how can I kind of change this now? Like a bit of a quick fix really. And then the 7th step is the deeper dive. So
it'll
just
be good in
believe
combination.
you won't change your outcome. This is literally as simple as that. So yes, look forward to that.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for our chat, and sort of just for those that don't know Viv, you know, please get connected and check out all the links that I'll pop below.
Yeah, I've got a free Facebook group. There's about 1,300 women in there, very supportive, and that's kind of where I advertise the free stuff I'm doing. So yeah, do feel free. I'll send you that link as well. You know it.
Cool. Well, for those watching this, you know, I hope you've enjoyed our chat, and watch out for the training session, which I'll post next week. There we go. Thank you again, Viv.